Thank you, guys. Over the weekend, the world watched as the Queen farewelled His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh.
Now, while this may have been one of the most unusual memorial ceremonies in royal history, the uncluttered service allowed for us to take a closer look at how the family interacted. And after the past few months they've had, there was a lot to keep an eye out for.
Really. To discuss, we're joined by body language expert Dr. Louise Mahler. Welcome to you. Lovely to see you again.
Good morning.
Now, before we begin, we have to remember this was a COVID-safe ceremony. That's important. Masks on, no hugging. That's the most important part of any funeral service, right, was ripped away from them. Does that make it harder to analyse from your perspective?
Look, I thought it was easier actually because we had the public stripped away, so we had all of that movement and excitement taken away and we could just focus on what was important. And their role was just duty, discipline, respect. Walk straight ahead, look straight ahead. So any little thing stood out dramatically.
OK, let's start with the Queen. You say her physical presence matched exactly how she would have been feeling on the inside. These were heartbreaking shots.
Oh, heartbreaking. I thought the word for the Queen was heartbreaking. And I think it's for her that we have the tears during this funeral. She was hunched. She was slightly unstable on her feet. She seemed to be favouring one side. She was covered. She had her head down. So we didn't really see her face at all. But it was just heartbreakingly devastating.
Yeah, sure was. Everyone was waiting to see Prince Harry, of course, reunited with his family. Now, as he left the church, you noticed a little something there.
I did. I noticed, you know, as I said, it's respect, it's discipline. Harry tapped the order of service on his thigh. Now, this is anxiousness, it's, look at that, it's nerves, but it's disrespect. One job, you know, walk, look straight ahead, do nothing unusual. And with none of the other distractions, it stood out and unnecessary.
OK, the Duchess of Cambridge spent some time talking to Harry. This came afterwards, outside the church, after the service.
The Duchess of Cambridge is a hero. Where did they find her? She just knows how to do things in our modern world. So although she knows about how to wear the right hairstyle, ponytails don't work at a funeral, thank you, Beatrice, she knows how to look casual and still hold that respect. So she never moved her head from Harry. She had his attention. She kept the conversation up just about the funeral. She kept his attention and made it very easy for William just to have a little word in a word about the funeral, nothing else. And Kate kept that attention, kept that energy, kept his focus. And it was genius at work, really, under an enormously stressful situation.
Yeah, a lip reader has a tough day at the office for the lip reader with the masks on for everyone. A lip reader has analysed what they were all talking about. What do we know about those observations?
Well, you know, William took his mask off, and of course they were talking about the funeral, and they were saying, oh, it was just like he would have wanted it. So they just kept it at a very high level funeral discussion. You know, they hardly asked, how's Meghan or how's America? You know, that did not come into it. Just the funeral. Keep it chunked up at that level.
What about Prince Andrew? He's been out of the public eye for a while now. We haven't seen a lot of him. He did say a few words after his father's death. But what do we think about Prince Andrew?
Well, most notable with Andrew was as they were walking along, he was swaying from side to side. His body doesn't go straight ahead, it goes side to side. And I think that his body is showing the signs of a lifetime of indulgence. His stomach's swollen underneath his ribs, it lifts his chest up. So he had a lot of the white of his shirt showing. His arms are out to the side and he's swaying from side to side. Nobody else spoke to him, he just stood behind his daughter. I thought he was a sad character.
OK. What about Prince Charles? Now, he stood out during the procession, particularly because of the marching beat. Can you talk us through that?
Well, if you're in Safeways, Woolworths, Coles, wherever, and they have the music and they have it there for a purpose, it's to slow you down and make you feel happy. And here, it wasn't even subliminal. They had a bang, bang, bang of the march, and Anne was immediately in that step. William was immediately in that step, and Charles, he's out of step. He's going slower. He's against the rhythm, and he just looked awkward with the rhythm, and that took a conscious effort. He did get into the rhythm as they went on. About 5 minutes in, he started to get into the walking rhythm, but it did show a dissonance. For me, it sent a message of, I don't walk to the beat I'm told to walk to. I will do my own beat.
Okay, so much to read into, Louise. It's fascinating stuff. It was a beautiful and elegant service.
It was. I thought it was magnificent.
The British do pomp and ceremony so very well.
Yeah.
Thank
Didn't you feel sorry for those guys out in the heat with the big hats on and the big instruments and walking in those very stiff shoes, and then having to stand there?
Yeah, I think they would have considered it a privilege to actually take part, I think. Louise, thank you. Always fascinating to hear your thoughts.
Thanks, Louise. Thanks a lot.